Welcome to the Hungaroring for live coverage on Gaming Anamonda of the pre-season race for PSGL F4 League, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the new grid lines up pace-wise as we head into Australia in a week's time. Several new faces have dropped down from the F1 League, such as Iran, and also we have Josh, who of course had his season ban in F1 last season, but making his return to PSGL in F4. Whether these guys will be too quick for some of the F4 regulars, we will find out in the next few weeks. Now, of course, some of the drivers are in new teams. We only have 11 drivers on the grid for tonight's pre-season race. This is a track where, of course, high downforce setup is demanded. Very similar to tracks such as Monaco, in that you need a lot of downforce on this track. Overtaking opportunities at a premium. Really only the main straight, the best opportunity you will get. So let's have a look at Doggy Dude then. Number 66 in the Haas machine as they go out for their initial outlaps, and according to my sources the weather is going to be dry for the entirety of the session, so a nice simple time for the drivers out there. Who's been slacking off between the seasons and who's been keeping themselves sharp? That's going to be the interesting question. And of course, Gaming Anamonda, the home of PSGL F1, which begins tomorrow with the Australian Grand Prix. And anyone who's been following my Twitter would have seen my little hype trailer I put up. Had some kind words about that one, so very much appreciated. I really enjoyed that edit. Very nice to do it. I'm not the best at graphics, but I make up for it with my editing skills, I do believe. So then, let's have a quick look at who's out there tonight. So we have Warren Haig and Blue Mosquito. They're going to be in the Force India cars this season, and they are undoubtedly, in my opinion, and maybe quite a few of the others across the community, the favourites for the F4 Constructors Championship this season. This is the reigning F4 champion we're on board with. What a season he had last time out. Consistency, it kind of tailed off at the end of the season, but he got the job done pretty much through the first 3 quarters of the season with just some brilliantly consistent drives. And no one, even if he wasn't always the quickest on race day, he just always stood out trouble, and he always got brilliant results, and that was the secret to his success last season. Consistency is everything over the course of a Formula 1 season, and in F4 no exception whatsoever. But there will be several quick drivers on the grid, some of which are not racing tonight, who will have something to say about that in terms of preventing him from being a back-to-back champion. So is anybody on a real flying lap right now? Blue Mosquito is. It's the Haas of Dougie Dude up ahead. Or is that Mercedes? I think that was a Mercedes actually. Hello to Game Freaker, who's in the chats and also racing. Game Freaker, another of the former F1 drivers who have joined the F4 grid for this season. So again, like I said earlier, how these former F1 drivers slot into the order of F4, which is, you know, no slouch a league in itself. As BW Clyde sets a 1:19.696, I suspect we'll see faster times. So that's all. Dougie runs wide. Blue crosses the line with a 1:18.534, setting a decent early pace in pre-season here, over a second quicker than BW Clyde, who's driving for McLaren this season. Sab in the Mercedes, the car that I of course drove to victory at Belgium last season. He is currently in 5th place. Hulkenberger, the closest rival to Blue Mosquito at this stage. Now, what about Warren Haig? He's out there as well. That is the teammate of Blue Mosquito. Is he about to cross the line? Indeed he is. And he's on the soft tyre compound. Let's just see what compounds people are on. Game Freaker for 1:18.879 on the soft compound. That's a very impressive time from Game Freaker. And that is, you know, nearly a second quicker than Warren Haig's soft time. Josh, the other soft runner. In terms of the pit strategy here, one stop is possible, but it can be a tall order, especially if you battle too much, but it is doable. And I think some of the drivers, especially those starting on the Supersource, will be more likely to be doing a 2-stop strategy. Those outside the top 10 though, which will only be one on this occasion, may have the biggest tyre advantage of all. So it wouldn't surprise me if one of the drivers decides to retire and get that nice P11 spot, because that would be a good place to be strategy wise. So it's pre-season, so it's, you know, it's not going to be taken as seriously as an actual race will be next week. Of course, you will get all the action from F4 on Kurt Toys' channel, details of which he will share, I'm sure, as Hulkenberg goes even quicker, 1:18.363. I can't remember what the pole time was at Hungary for F4 last season. I have to admit, I'm not as prepared for my commentary tonight as I normally would be, but I have kind of rushed in to cover this. But I think it was somewhere in the 1:18s like this, but this is decent early pace. And is that out of fuel, Hulkenberger? Or is he just getting out of the way? Well, if he's out of fuel, he is out of fuel, so he's going to take a long time to get back to the pits, so that could be the end of his qualifying session. But that's quite an eye-opening time from Game Freaker though on the softs, I have to say. You know, half a second off the super soft time. As Simo goes up to third, and he's racing for Ferrari this season, incidentally. I may as well go through the full team lineup, although I'm sure Curtis will do the same next week. That's a nice helmet that Simo has got on. I think that's one of the custom designs in the game, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. And has he run out of fuel as well? No, he's got plenty of fuel left, so he'll probably get back to the pits in time to get a nice fresh set of tyres. So then, Warren Hagen, Blue Mosquito for Force India, Iran and Mr. Grumpy, the very experienced combo at the Sauber team. Hulkenberg and Game Freaker, the two Renault drivers who are out there today. None of the Toro Rosso drivers, Tejua and Betrayer, have made it this evening. Tejua is somewhere in the universe, and Betrayer, I believe, is watching the El Clasico. Number one, Tappy and Miles for the Haas team. Neither of them are here this evening. Dougie Dude, I'm not sure where he comes into this because he's not actually listed officially as a driver. And Aaron just goes slightly slower than Hulkenberg. Up to second he goes. So it's going to go on track action. VW Clyde and LFC for life. They will be taking command of the orange McLarens this season. Gazaman and Gordo, they will be taking control of the Williams this season. And I do believe Gaza was meant to be making his PSGL F4 debut in the pre-season, but he's going to instead return for Australia next week. Deja Vu, someone a lot of people say in F4 is overdue for a win at this level. He's going to be in the Red Bull with Raver's Revenge, who didn't turn up to too many races due to work commitments, but hopefully we'll see a bit more of him next season. Simo and Josh, I think Simo and Josh, that's a dark horse for the Constructors' Championship in my opinion. So watch out for them. And then we have Mr. P80 and Sab 7786 in the Mercedes this season. And Sab, the sole Mercedes driver. So let's have a quick one down the order then. With just over 3.5 minutes of session to Hulkenberger then, provisional pole for pre-season in the Renault. Aaron in the Sauber in second, Blue Mosquito third, then Simo, then Game Freaker making up the top five. Grumpy looking to find a bit more time, currently in 6th position, who won several races in F4 last season as part of the Constructors runners-up last season. As you know, I think that was Toro Rosso, if I'm very much mistaken, and I think I was on that point. So apologies to the Toro Rosso team from last season. We did in fact finish third, Grumpy and I. I certainly do miss the racing, but commentary is just as good. Hopefully we'll see some good on-track action. With 11 drivers, it could be quite a spread out field, but this is all about getting the running in. It's all about, you know, tweaking any setup to your pads or your wheels, just to, get yourself into gear for the race at Albert Park next week, Australian Grand Prix. And in a way, it's good preparation because Australia, like this track at the Hungaroring, very difficult to overtake on. There's not many opportunities, so maybe, getting used to following the cars again in a competitive environment, that's going to be beneficial for all the 11 drivers out there this evening. So Hulkenberger, it's kind of quiet at the moment. Most drivers in the pits. Blue Mosquito has decided to go out early. And he's on the super soft, and everyone appears to have switched to the super soft. So maybe Game Freaker, Josh, and Haig were just getting a feel for the track on the softs. So Game Freaker was only half a second off Hulkenberger's super soft time on the soft compound. So you see that I've switched to their best compound, and Game Freaker the fastest of the soft runners. So if he can replicate that sort of pace on the super softs, he could well be. And Blue is retired from the session. Now why would he do that? Well, something he must have. Oh, he must have got a next lap invalidation or something like that. So that's that could be costly for Blue in this pre-season race. Of course, there's no points on offer here tonight, but he'll be wanting to sort of lay down a marker as the champion. Goes, yep, I may have won the championship last season, but I am not easing off on any of you. I want to win this championship again. I want to defend the title I so richly deserved last season. So, given that we get the track evolution right now, he could drop several places, but we shall see. Gorgeous blue skies above the Hungaroring right now. No chance of rain in the race or in qualifying right now. So Hulkenberg getting ready for his final flying lap. Iran is on his out lap. Who else is out there? Let's see. Ron Haig. Is Ron Haig out there? Indeed he is. He's Sole Force India running out there at the moment. Just trying to figure out. Haig starting a lap. Oh, and we just catch Clyde doing a nice spin onto the grass, and that I do believe is near turn 6 or 7. Clyde's session is over. Disappointing start to the campaign for Clyde, but of course doesn't matter too much. If you can get your mistakes out of the way in pre-season and then make no mistakes during the season, that is exactly what we want. This is what this pre-season is about. Getting sharp, getting those mistakes out of your system, the ring rust as it were. So Hulkenberg carries on into sector 2. I just want to see if Iran is near the end. Iran is starting a lap, so Hulkenberg is on a flying lap. Ran wide at that section. That would have that compromised his entry to the next corner. Grumpy has moved up to 3rd, so that's a good effort from the Sauber driver. But can his teammate do anything better? What about? I just want to see. Is anyone else near the end of this lap? That will be the interesting thing. And yes, Big C, definitely too much experience here. And Josh goes for 118.278, and Game Freaker even quicker for 118.023. And Hulkenberg sticks it in there in 2nd place. Look how close it is. And Tottenham Haig goes even quicker in the Force India at 117.976. Less than 2 tenths between the top 3. That is close, and less than half a second between the top 6. I said Blue was going to lose places for making that mistake, and he has. He's dropped all the way down to 9th place. Unbelievable. That is a close grid, ladies and gentlemen. Dougie Dude up to 6th. Well, if it's like this during the season, I tell you what, it's going to be a brilliant season covered by Kurt Toys each week on Sundays at 8 o'clock. And wow, I did not expect it to be so close. I thought it would be a bit more spread out, but yeah, the former F1 drivers mixing it up with the F4 drivers nicely for what could be an extremely competitive grid for the season to come. Just over half a second between the top 9. Well, you know, if you mix some of the drivers who are not here this evening into that mix, that's going to be fascinating to watch. Of course, it may not be this close in every session, but if it is, whoa, what a season they're going to have in F4. So Haig takes pole position from Game Freaker, Hulkenberg, Iran, Josh, Simo, Dougie, Grumpy, Blue, Sab, and Clyde at the back grid, and he will be the sole driver who gets a free tyre choice. So very interested to see what sort of strategy he does. So hello to JP and Connor, who are watching this right now, perhaps bouncing between the F3 stream and F4 as well. F3 incidentally also having their pre-season race tonight. But all the PSGL action kicks off with PSGL F1 tomorrow, only on Gaming Alamonda, and I will be joined by the legendary Iran in the commentary box for the opening round of the season as Asbest begins the defence of his title, which he won in that sensational race at Japan, that showdown at Suzuka where the title was decided not on points but on the win record that Ash had. So if we get a season anything like season 19 or indeed 18 when Jamie won the title, wow. But we're going to focus now on F4 pre-season action here at the Hungaroring, and we are about to start. No formation lap, of course. We're going to go straight into the action. So then, Haig, Game Freaker on the front row, Hulkenberg and Iran just behind, 5 red lights. And away we go. It's a good start from Warren Haig. I have to say the 2 Ferraris, look out for them. Haig's going to go to the inside, try and cut off Game Freaker's entry. And watch out for the Ferrari of Josh, trying to look for a move down the inside. And it's a really good start from Haig, and he's got what he needed to do. So anything going on the back? It looks like Grumpy has dropped to the back. So let's just have a look at Hulkenberg, who's under pressure from the Ferrari of Josh, round the outside in the battle for 4th. and they're the only two sort of side by side at the moment. Now we get to see what the race pace is like of these 11 drivers in pre-season as they fly through this brilliant, this is one of my favourite camera angles in the game actually, that particular one we just saw. So Hulkenberger in 4th place behind Iran, Game Freaker and Haig. So we got 2 F4 drivers and 2 former F1 drivers in the top 4, and that's probably what we wanted to see. Promising signs for the season ahead. Blue incidentally has made one of his customary clean getaways and he's moved up to 6th place, the reigning F4 champion. So it's going to take a few, maybe a few laps for this to all settle down. Oh, the Ferrari of Simo really pushing through the end of sector 2. And now maybe Blue will have a little think about attacking Josh down the home straight. It was a pretty clean getaway, didn't see any incidents. Wonder if anyone's going to pit for wing damage, we shall see. Just looking behind the wing of Blue, I don't see anyone peeling off into the pits, so actually that's a decent start from everybody. Haig says a fast lap, but that's obviously by default. He's the first driver on track. Lap 2 then of this 35 lap F4 PSGL F4 race. So the order is, oh, and down the inside goes Dougie Dude, or was he defending from Simo? I'm not sure. Just caught that out of the corner of my eye. So let's just see who's gained what then from the start. 3 places gained from Blue. Iran gained a place start, and now, oh, I think he's actually fighting for position, and Iran's off the track. Iran is off the track. Well, that is, for a driver of his immense experience, that is an unusual mistake, unless he had contact with Hulkenberger. But Iran, not the ideal start to pre-season for F4 for his first action outside of F1 for many a campaign. And he has wing damage as well, I believe. So Haig still leading the race. Game Freaker keeping it honest. And they've dropped Hulkenberger pretty quickly, it has to be said. Warren Haig, you know, his F1 2017 era has been very interesting. He started it as the defending F4 champion, had a really poor campaign in the first season of F4 on this game, and then the second half of F4, the season just gone, he really came into his own. Scored several wins. He really looks like someone who's going to be capable of challenging for the championship this season, back to his best. A former F4 champion, of course. He won the last season of the F1 2016 campaign at Abu Dhabi, which is a race I was right there to see. That was a really good race for me that day. I was on the podium. But going back to now, Josh now looking to put the Renault under pressure of Hulkenberger, because frankly Hulkenberger is being dropped pretty quickly by the top 2. 1.6 second gap between the top 2 already at this stage. Let's just hope it doesn't spread out this much, but let's have a look at Game Freak quickly, because if anything he's really putting a bit of pressure down on Warren Haig at this stage. Through the chicane they go. It's a tricky chicane, that one, because you can easily bounce over the curbs and absolutely compromise your exit, and you can be a sitting duck even with that short run to that following corner. Yes, JP makes the point, shouldn't Blue have moved up to F3? Well, I think, to be honest, even though he was the champion, he didn't really ever show the sort of, you know, far more pace to actually move up to F3, to be honest with you. And you can look back at, it wasn't like he was on pole and winning races all the time. He just, because of his experience, he just seemed to get great results all the time throughout the season, but he was never sort of the quickest driver on the grid. I think he would admit that himself for the majority of the races, but he just had excellent racecraft, and that is pretty much the reason he won the championship. He didn't really win it through pure speed, so I'm guessing that is the reason why he hasn't moved up. I mean, that's my observation of it, because I raced with him during that time. We shall see. But also I do know that Blue didn't particularly enjoy his time in F3 the last time, so maybe he just felt like defending his championship in F4 would be more fun a challenge for him, especially with the great talent that's joined F4 this season, than it would be going up to F3. So the battle for third really beginning to hot up here, but Warren Haig has actually moved out of DRS range of Game Freaker, so the battle for third is going to be our main on-track battle at this stage. Now, Aaron hasn't pitted, but he's moved back past Clyde into 10th, and it looks like Grumpy is on the back of Sab, so I might have a quick look at that in a moment, but I want to just keep an eye on this, because I think Josh is going to be able to launch an attack on Hulkenberger with the DRS enabled, and especially now Hulkenberger's dropped well out of DRS range. Oh, and Hulkenberger sliding around the final corner. Will that put him under threat? We shall see. Josh is getting closer and closer to the back of that Renault, and I'll tell you what, I think he's going to have an opportunity. He's going to... Oh no, he backs out of it. Let's have a look at Mr. Grumpy, because I think he was about to challenge Sab. No, he's not able to get past the Mercedes. So good defending from Sab at this stage. Sab got a number of excellent point scores this season, so maybe the next step for him will be to head towards, you know, the top 6 of the grid for this season. And again, he's having to defend from this Sauber. Grumpy must have had some sort of issue at turn 1. He must have got caught up in something, because he dropped several places. He's beginning to recover now. So the big loser on track at the moment is Aaron. He had that incident a few laps ago. Even with all his experience, and he's dropped 6 places to 10th. Oh, and Sab, I mentioned it earlier, bouncing over the curbs, that can be really dangerous. And well, great reactions from Grumpy to avoid sort of an incident there, you know, hitting the back of him. And look at that, Aaron, Grumpy's teammate, is closing the gap to them pretty quickly. Now I'm going to head back to Hulkenberger, because he is still defending furiously. It's definitely a Hulk train here, with Josh, Blue, Dougie and Simo right behind him, and then there's quite a gap, 3.5 second gap to Sab behind. So Josh, is he going to be able to launch an attack, or is it more likely? And look at that, Dougie Dude defending from Simo, and what about Mr. Grumpy? And again, Grumpy looks for a late lunge down the inside, but again he doesn't get past. So no one's left the session, so it looks like everyone's running very similar setups. And meanwhile, the 2 Ferrari powered cars going side by side momentarily. Dougie Dude defending from the very experienced Simo, who I'm sure his number 1 aim this season will be to get his first PSGL F4 victory. I'm not sure if he's raced anywhere else in PSGL, but he's certainly one of those drivers, along with the likes of Lars Gaming and Dave Jarvu, who are really overdue for a victory at this level. They've come very close in the past. So this is a fantastic little scrap for the final podium position. Game Freak is now close back into DRS range of Warren Haig. So might have a quick look at those two now. 2.7 seconds gap now between second and third. And Haig struggling for grip a little bit. Oof. See that? He sort of ended up in the pit lane entry. The back end was sort of screaming a little bit. But will Game Freak be close enough to challenge? And I'll switch to Hulkenberg immediately. I don't know. I don't think Game Freak is going to be close enough. What about Josh? Is he any closer? I think they're all running very similar setups by the looks of it. What about, let's have a look at Mr. Grumpy. And look at that, Sab going very defensive onto the inside, and Aaron's right there as well. Now will that compromise Sab's exit? Yes indeed it does, and that gives Grumpy a run round the outside into turn 2. Sab cuts the apex off, and will that give Aaron half a chance? Oh, and onto the grass goes, and Aaron goes round the outside, or at least tries to go around the outside of his teammate. Who's going to back off at turn 4? Well, in the end, Grumpy maintains a place, but that was very canny from Aaron. Well, you would expect that. Oh, and Grumpy struggling to clear the grass off his tyres. He nearly had a little moment there just before the chicane. So that was some nice stuff there from the 2 Sauber teammates. I was going to say Aaron teammates there. That wouldn't have made any sense whatsoever. So looks like Game Freaker is even closer to Warren Haig this lap. Well, Game Freaker, you know, at times had some great performances in PSGL F1 a few seasons ago. So, you know, that sort of performance. It looks like Simo's got past Dougie, but I'm going to stick on board with this battle for the lead. Can he get close? No, very similar straight line speed. Hulkenberger now. Under attack from Josh. Oh, and they nearly touch wheels. Josh down the inside. And he takes 3rd place. Good move from Josh. And Simo. Oh, and Dougie Dude is in the pits. What's happened to Dougie Dude? Was that a wing change or was that a strategy call? Lap 8. Quite early for a switch to the soft tyres. But he'll have a good undercut if he can get some good pace going. So Game Freak within 3/10 of Warren Haig in the battle for the lead. Josh has now got ahead of Hulkenberg, so can can Josh have some race pace to close the gap to the top two? Because they're nearly 4 seconds behind the top two at this point. Hulkenberger really struggling for rear grip again, and that's going to put him under pressure from the reigning F4 champion, Blue Mosquito. Yeah, just looking back at the comments. Yeah, JP, but I get what you're saying, but Cheetah was clearly too fast for F4 when he won the championship. So, you know, he at the time, he was, you know, far quicker, along with Frizzo and Flying Throne. They were the 3 quickest that season, so they pretty much had to be moved up. But who knows, you know, some of these drivers in F4, they might be too quick and they may go on. Iran Pitts then from 9th place, and now Blue will go for a late lunge, practicing his braking. Oh, and Hulkenberger, to his credit, gives him good space, but he gets better traction having that line, and he maintains the place. Simmer right behind him. These 3 drivers very familiar with each other. They've raced several seasons with each other. And look at that, Josh already putting a nice gap behind him. Oof, Simo flies off. Might have got a warning for a track extension there. Oh, and Hulkenberger's gone off, and he's hit Blue. Oh, what an incident. Hulkenberger lost the car and swiped into Blue, and they're both taken out. I don't think Blue would have got any damage from that, maybe, but wow, what an incident for Hulkenberger. He had such a good qualifying. And Grumpy spins behind him. Well, all this experience on the grids, and we've seen Iran, Grumpy and Hulkenberger all having huge incidents. Well, they're certainly wanting to shake off the rust in this pre-season. They won't want to look back at that at all. And look at this, Clyde now. It's on the mediums. So he started on the mediums from the start of the race. That's an interesting call. And he says running around 9th place at the moment. And meanwhile, Haig pits from 1st position. So let's see what he goes on. He's going on to the soft compacts. I'll tell you what, it has been a far more exciting pre-season race than I expected for the opening 10 laps, given that we've only got 11 races here. But we've seen some big incidents. Sam pits then from 5th place. Is anyone having a wing change? I suspect. Yeah, looks like, yeah, Blue's had a wing change. He's in the pits. What about Hulkenberger? Yes, he's got one as well. So, could be some decent results on for some of the people in pre-season right now. So the top 3 very spread out. It will probably balance itself out later on. Wait, what was that? There was a Ferrari off the track. Oh no, it was sorry, it was a McLaren. So Haig has already flown past Clyde, or Clyde may have made a mistake. So Haig on the soft combats. Grumpy really struggling on the super soft tyres. Oh, and Haig's hit the back of Grumpy, and that was a bit of wing off. Probably at least one part of the end plate, maybe light green damage, but that's going to affect his downforce, and that could be pretty costly in his battle for the lead with Game Freaker, because Game Freaker was right there. Now it's Game Freaker actually going to respond, and he's pitted. So we shall see if they come out. If Game Freaker can come out ahead of Warren Haig. Warren Haig is being really held up, and he tries to go around the outside, because I think Grumpy's going to peel off into the pits anyway. And yes, or does he? No, he doesn't. So he carries on. Haig really being boxed in, and I think that will give Game Freaker all the chance in the world to get back in the lead. This would be incredibly close. Down the inside goes Warren Haig. Where's the Renault? The Renault is coming out of the pits now, and he is in fact in front of Game Freaker. So Game Freaker leads the race, and he's on the medium compound. Warren Haig is on the soft, so it's Game Freaker looking to do the one stop from here. 25, well, around 25 laps on the medium compound. So it's a different strategy with Haig chipping off parts of his wing. Can he use the soft tyres to get... Oh, big lag. Big lag. I don't know who was lagging there, but that was that was pretty catastrophic for a moment there. Lickle and Hellboy being teammates, JP. Well, anyone who watched F2 finale, which I do believe you commentated the stream, and I think I was with you that race. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I'm really surprised. But I guess they've patched up, because, you know, Lickle lost the F2 championship because of that ridiculous wheel banging that he had with Hellboy, which was, you know, I think more Hellboy to blame for that. So yeah, when I saw them as teammates, I was a bit taken aback. I was like, wow, okay, they must have kissed and made up. Well, they have any sort of incident together, that sort of hate for each other will be reignited, but it will be good popcorn material for PSGL F1. No question if those two come into contact at any stage during the season. The Grumpy pits from 5th place, but yeah, the pace hasn't been there for Grumpy so far. So let's see then, Game Freaker now, just over a second ahead of Warren Haig. So the battle for the top 2, well, Haig, he's going to have to pit again. So he needs to really clear Game Freaker soon if he's going to win this race. Game Freaker though pits up a 3-second time penalty just now, so that complicates things for the Renault driver a little bit. But if he's going to the end of the race on that medium compound, he is on the best strategy at this stage, seemingly. And I think because Haig's slightly compromised from that wing damage, he's able to keep ahead at the moment. Now let's have a look at on-track battles. Blue Mosquito, of course, has pitted for wing change. That's why he's dropped down to 10th place, and now he's going to be battling Grumpy. And these two had a fair number of great battles in PSGL F4 last season, so it's nice to see these two going into combat at this early stage before the season even begins. But 9th and 10th is not exactly the positions they want to be in, as Josh pits then from the lead of the race. Be interesting to see where he comes out. He's looking good for a podium at this stage. Simo yet to pit. Is he? Well, him and Clyde, the only two not to pit. Where's Josh going to come out then? Oh, and there's the McLaren of Clyde. Down the inside, they both go. This is going to be crucial for Josh's race. He doesn't want to get stuck behind Clyde, who hasn't even stopped yet, and he's on much more worn tyres. 13 lap old mediums at this point, and Josh gets it done with the fresher rubber. So that's an important move for Josh, because I think Josh is looking good for a podium in terms of the strategy right now. So I think Haig may have gone for the wrong choice here. So Haig 1.5 seconds behind Game Freaker now, and I do think even with that slight wing damage, but this is a circuit where you need all the downforce. You need all of it, because it is a high downforce circuit, this particular one. It's not far off Monaco in terms of the downforce you need to go through some of these really tricky corners. It's very much a technical circuit. That's why you don't get many overtaking opportunities around here. So it's 2 seconds now, the gap between Game Freaker and Warren Haig. So Dougie Dude actually running in a very good 4th place at the moment, but he pitted quite a few laps earlier and he's on top compound, so he will definitely be stopping again, but he's going to be, could be lightning at the end. On Haig pits, I think he's given up. Is he going to, this will confirm if he has wing damage, but Warren Haig may well be out of the fight for the race victory right now. He'll be switching to the medium. Let's see, is this a wing change? Yes it is. It's another disaster for the Force India team. Blue Mosquito, of course, no fault of his own, and Warren Haig, yeah, again another racing incident. But they've had plenty of good practice, the Force India team, ready for the season. But Warren Haig's going to drop all the way, I think, down into this battle between Grumpy and Blue Mosquito. And what has Haig gone on to? Or is he going to... Oh no, it's the Super Softs. So Haig, he's in the mood for some overtaking practice, clearly. He gets out ahead of Hulkenberger. So Haig will be pitting again. I don't think he cares now about the result. I think he's just here to practice and have some fun. And why not? There's no points up for grab in this race, so get some practice in for Australia for overtaking. I think that's actually quite a good idea. So in terms of the on-track, Simo still out there. Only driver hasn't pitted. He's done 14 laps on the Super Softs, which is a pretty good going, and now he finally pits. Now, where will Simo end up? I think Simo will come out somewhere where Clyde and Sab is, so maybe behind Clyde in 6th place, but he'll be in a decent place. If he's on the medium compound, it should be a very easy one-stop for him from there. Oh, he's on the softs, so he's going... well, that's going to be possible, because he's on lap 15, but he's going to have to, you know, look after them and not battle too much, because he may still be compromised at the end. So let's go through the race order, because everybody's pitted except for Clyde. Game Freaker, Dougie, Josh, Clyde, Simo's come out in 5th, as I thought he would. Sab is in 6th position. And then we have Iran in 7th, Grumpy in 8th, Blue in 9th, Haig in 10th, and Hulkenberg in 11th. I was just checking something. So let's have a look at the tyre choices. Quite a mix of tyres. with Dougie Dude. He pitted quite early on, so he'll be pitting again for sure. Sab, again, he pitted fairly early. He's on the soft compound. He's going for a two-stop. Again, they're all sort of testing things out here. So it's a big gap between Game Freaker and Dougie Dude, nearly 6 seconds. Realistically though, Josh is running in second at the moment. And when Clyde pits, Simo, at the moment, if he can get those softs to the end, he'll be on for a podium in pre-season. He'll be very pleased with that. So in terms of on-track battles, looks like Dougie Dude is being caught by Josh. So let's just have a look at that, just outside DRS range. Dougie Dude's soft tyres, they'll probably be around halfway through their life maybe. I think he'll be pitting probably somewhere around lap 23, 24. Well, hopefully for the super softs. Otherwise this strategy won't be good. Oh, Dougie Dude, the back end kicking out ahead, we just saw that. Now Haig is on the back of his Force India teammate, so this is a little bit of early progress at a 1:28.381 for the fastest lap, by far the quickest lap so far. And Haig now going for a late lunge down the inside with a superior grip, and Blue, well, he gave him the space. He pretty much knew he wasn't going to be able to defend that. And well, pretty polite from Blue, didn't really defend it too much, but yeah, massive tyre disadvantage. So Haig with the fastest lap of the race, he'll be getting after Mr. Grumpy now. So he may be compromised strategy wise because of hitting the back of Grumpy, but he's having some fun out there, so a good overtake from him. Now Josh closing in onto the back. He's on fresh mediums up against the worn tyres, the soft tyres of Dougie Dude. So let's see if he can get to the back of him. He's in DRS range now. Again, Dougie Dude's not actually listed on the F4 unless this is one of the existing drivers who's changed his gamer tag, or his PSN ID rather. Gamer tag, that's a very old school reference for me. Not been an Xbox player for many years now, since 2014. So Josh looking for a move. No, not quite close enough yet. Meanwhile, Haig is caught onto the back of Mr. Grumpy already, so that didn't take long at all. Grumpy's going to go defensive. It's another fast lap, so 120 flat. Meanwhile, up ahead, Simo is attacking Clyde, but we're going to focus on this, and wow, that is an easy overtake for Haig. No defense whatsoever for Grumpy. So the next on-track battle, Irin is now closing in on the back of Sab, and Simo's closing on the back of Clyde, so lots of different sort of dynamics in the battles at the moment. Given that there's only 11 drivers on the track, I'm surprised how many battles we're seeing. Half distance then in this PSGL F4 pre-season race here at the Hungaroring. Just having a quick look at Simo. He's on the back of Clyde, and then we've got Irin on the back of Sab. Mr. Grumpy has been overtaken by Haig, but he's probably going to drop out pretty quickly. Oh, and Simo nearly runs wide, but he just about saves it. Now what about, let's go have a look at Josh, because Josh is hounding Dougie. He's probably not sure what Dougie's strategy is at this point. He's going to have to attack him, and Dougie goes defensive straight away, but maybe didn't need to. So I don't think, unless Josh goes for an almighty dive and a pit, he goes quite late on the brakes. He was never really going to overtake from there, but this looks like something that's more likely. Down the inside goes Simo. And what about Irin just behind, because he was attacking Sab. No, wasn't able to get the move done, and Simo did get the move done in the end on Clyde. So Sab now defending from the three-time PSGL F1 champion. Irin goes for a late lunge down the inside at turn 2, and he gets it done, showing all that experience, and he's up to 6th, recovering from his incident earlier on in the race. But that was a good move. Sab running wide behind him. So what can Irin do from here? He's one stopping by the looks of it on the medium compound. So Dougie Dude, to his credit, holding Josh off, who's had plenty of experience in PSGL F1. So that Dougie Dude's not a name I'm familiar with actually. So if anyone in the chat is familiar with him, maybe you can give me some history on him, because it's not a name I've seen before. So Josh has closed in on him again. Let's see how close he is on the main straight, lap 19 of this 35 lap pre-season race. And Again, he's not close enough. Similar straight line speed from the two drivers. Meanwhile, Blue Mosquito is closing onto the back of Mr. Grumpy. These two have been sort of in the same region. Blue was going really well, recovering from a poor qualifying session, and then unfortunately Holkenberger had a mistake, and Blue Mosquito had nowhere to go, and they were both collected, both had to change their wings. So that was a very misfortune. Meanwhile, Warren Haig is closed right onto the back. Oh, more lag, and I think Haig is the one who's lagging, to be honest. Slightly, not too bad. So what Haig doesn't want to do is hit the back of a car again, because I think it was a bit sloppy when he hit the back of Grumpy earlier in the race. You know, you don't really want to be too close to someone through the chicane for that very reason. Saab struggling through that chicane. He has done for most of the race. We're still running into points at the moment. Well, the proverbial points anyway. So we go on the sideboard. Oh, Haig taking a bit more curve than he probably would have wanted, but he got away with it. But when they get to the main straight, I don't think that Saab's going to have much of an answer. Might even go for it before the end of the lap. Irin has closed onto the back, and he's already passed Clyde. In fact, he has at the penultimate corner. Not a usual overtaking spot, but he's done it. And Haig is battling away with the Mercedes. Oh, and they touch. Oh, they're both off. They're both off. Double retirement. Oh, no. Both off. Dramatic accident there on the main straight. We saw a perfect view of that. Well, who is to blame for that? They've Saab sort of squeezed Haig a little bit. It was a bit of both, really. Bit of controversy in pre-season. I don't think Haig will not be pleased with that at all. But I think they sort of got caught together. Just having a look at the incident back. So that promotes three of the drivers up the order. Grumpy, so guaranteed top 10 finishes for everybody if they finish. But yeah, it's been a dramatic free-seed race. Not much of a fight for the lead, has to be said, because they're miles up the road. And in all that, Josh has finally got past Dougie, so followed him for many laps around Dougie Dude, and then we get that big incident, and of course we miss the overtake for second place. Hey, it was quite an accident. Probably one of the biggest crashes I've seen in a while. At quite an unusual place as well. But, you know, it's only pre-season, so these sort of mistakes, you know, if you get them out of the way now, it's not too bad. I don't think there's, well, you know, you can put it in the stewards and they'll probably just laugh at you. It's pre-season. So then, Blue going for a move down the inside of Grumpy, and Grumpy being very sort of not really defending the inside, but he's hoping to get the better traction, then to get down the inside for turn 2 to defend the place. But Blue will have the inside for free if he can just edge ahead of him. And he cuts the corner, and that's not going to help his traction at all. So Grumpy maintains the place. So this is the main battle track. This could be a nice exhibition of a battle between these two drivers who have been very successful PSGL in terms of at various levels, drivers and constructors championships, as they go through the chicane. Lap 21 of this race. We've only got 9 drivers now, so there may not be too many battles left in this race, but it's been quite a show. So it may be a bit anticlimactic the last few laps of the race, with the field being quite spread out, as they may well be. But we've seen plenty of good action out there. We've seen, you know, just shows you quite a few of the drivers are a little bit rusty with their racecraft. You know, some have spun off, some have, you know, hit the wall, and then, you know, others lacking maybe a bit of awareness of each other. So, but, you know, these are things you just want to shake off before the opener in Albert Park next week. And just a reminder that PSGL F1 is live on this channel tomorrow night, just before 8 o'clock, and it's going to be myself joined by the three-time PSGL F1 champion Irin, who incidentally we're on board with now in the commentary box. So the proverbial dream team that people demanded is happening. Now this is interesting. Now the battle for sixth. BDL Clyde, the only driver who hasn't pitted yet. To be on the mediums inside the race, 22 laps. He's struggling a little bit, especially for front grip through sector 2. And that's where he's losing a lot of time. because I noticed in the timing screens Clyde was sort of keeping a steady gap in 1 and 3, then losing an almighty amount of time in sector 2. And this is why Grumpy is closed right onto the back of him, so we could even see a freeway overtake on the main straight, but Grumpy struggling out the exit just before the end of sector 2, having to defend from the Sauber Mr. Grumpy, but watch out for Blue Mosquito's Force India behind, who will be trying to restore some pride. Oh, and Blue runs wide at one of the near the precise. Clyde pits then. Ah, that's a shame, we don't get to see a battle between Grumpy and Clyde. So Clyde finally pits then, but he'll be out in ninth, but he'll be on the super soft surely. So what about, let's see, Aaron is 1.6 seconds. What tyres are everybody on? Simo and Dougie Dude on the soft compound. We know that Aaron pitted, Simo pitted on the softs on lap 15, so it should be just about okay. Dougie Dude significantly, oh, and look at that. Blue Mosquito running on the curbs and saving the car, and that's dropped him significantly back from Grumpy. So some uncharacteristic mistake from some of the experienced drivers of F4. They must have had a lot of cocktails during the season break, because, you know, there's been some interesting sort of uncharacteristic mistakes from some of these drivers today. So then, Game Freaker, 6-second lead from Josh. Neither of those two are expected to come in again. Dougie, I do believe, will be pitting very shortly. Well, if he can get those softs from lap 8 all the way to the end of the race, that's very impressive tyre wear wise. Simo, well, he should be okay, as I mentioned a few moments ago. So he's looking good for a podium. Although Aaron on the medium compound. Whoa! What on earth was that? What just happened to Simo? Simo's just dropped down to 5th, but he was on the straight. It was almost like he'd had a spin on the straight, or he'd lost power or something. I forget if Simo's on the wheel or the pad, so did something just go wrong with his wheel or something? That was a very strange incident. Oh, I thought Josh had like lagged back into the future for a second, but no, it was definitely Simo. So Aaron is in a net 3rd place if Dude pits. See what sort of pace Aaron has at this stage of the race. I wonder if Clyde can set a blistering pace on those super softs to the end of the race. Indeed, can he catch up to Hulkenberg in the closing laps? Fly through, you'll be loving the grip on these fresh super softs. Game Freaker pits! So it's a 2-stop strategy then for Game Freaker. So Josh carries on. Well, maybe the tyre wear on the mediums isn't as good as I thought they were. But I did see a few people across PSGL do a 1-stop here last season. Admittedly not a race-winning 1-stop. So Game Freaker pits, but maybe he just wants to go with the super softs and do some overtaking, which is fine by me. Winning not so important pre-season, it's all about consistency. Keeping on the track and just, you know, getting a good feel for it before the season opener. So Josh takes the lead from Dougie Dude. Aaron is in 3rd. Game Freak has come out just ahead of Simo, so that mistake has proven really costly for Simo, because he's now dropped behind Game Freaker as well, who's on the fresh super soft tyres. Now, how quickly can Game Freaker get these super softs up to speed and catch up to Aaron? Because don't forget, he's got a 3-second time penalty. Don't forget that. I don't believe Josh has a time penalty at all. So the main talking points of this race really have been, A, got a brilliant getaway from the line and was leading the early stage of the race, under pressure from this man, Game Freaker, for the most of the first stint. Then during the first stint, Hulkenberger was put under pressure by Josh and overtaken, and then Hulkenberger had a big off which caught Blue Mosquito, and they both had to change their wings, which is why they're running as if. And Josh responds immediately. So yeah, these mediums clearly not going around. Dougie Dude pits as well. So Aaron will lead this PSGL pre-season race for Game Freaker. It's going to be right behind him. Will Aaron be able to go to the end? And where Josh has come out, but where's he going to end up? Oh, he could. I'll tell you what, Josh is going to go into traffic, I think. He's going to end up between Blue and Grumpy. Oh, well, that's going to compromise him. So could that open a door for someone else into second place if he gets caught up in this for too long? Game Freaker has absolutely demolished the gap that Irin had on Game Freaker, and he's already right behind him. Look at the superior grip he's got, Irin. We know how aggressive Irin can be in defence. We've seen that many times in PSGL F1. He goes to the side of the chicane. If you're having to defend at the chicane on this track, you know you're in trouble. Get a lovely helicopter view then of the Hungaroring. Perfect view, and you can see literally the grip difference between Game Freaker and Irin right now. Irin having to brake significantly earlier than his opponent behind. And this could be such a routine overtake, but nothing is routine about trying to overtake Irin, as anyone who's watched PSGL F1 over the years will know, and anyone who's raced against him will tell you. So onto the main straight to start lap 27 of this pre-season race. Irin goes defensive immediately. Oh, and Game Freaker sold the dummy and tried to put it down the inside, but Irin saw it coming, to his credit. That was really, really great stuff from both drivers. Game Freaker goes late on the brakes, round the outside at 2, through 3. And Irin squeezes him off at 4. Well, this is the Irin we know and love in defence. He never gives an inch, no matter who his friend or enemy may be behind him. Although a bribe he will always say yes to. So Game Freaker trying to get back into the lead of this race, because all the time he's losing, Josh is going to be gaining rapidly. Josh has got past Mr. Grumpy. This has been a fascinating pre-season race. I'm not sure an actual race would play out like this in F4. But yeah, I'm actually my voice decided to struggle a little bit, which I did not expect. So Game Freaker, this is take 2. You know, Irin will go straight to the inside to defend, and look at that straight away. The slipstream seems to be working okay despite people leaving the session. So Josh sets the fast lap, so Game Freaker's really got to get a move on. Goes late on the brakes, goes for the switchback, and Irin again, he saw the switchback coming and he sticks the car exactly where he wanted to be. This is a defensive masterclass from Irin at the moment, but Game Freaker goes late on the brakes on the outside, but again Irin sticks the car in the apex perfectly. And I get the thing, Irin's going to be a real pest to pass. Some of these F4 drivers may not have ever come up against a defensive master like Irin before. So Irin slides across to the inside. He's beginning strong on those mediums a little bit. And look at that, the 2 Ferraris are closing in. We could get a 4-way fight for the lead here. Game Freaker's got to get past, because he's getting caught by the 2 Ferraris rapidly. What a race this is. Don't want to look at anything else at the moment, but the top 4 now within 2 seconds of each other. This is a brilliant advert for F4. I mean, if it's like this for the season, I'm not going to miss any of the action. I almost wish I was still racing, but too busy to race at the moment. I hopefully will be back for F1 2018. So Irin once again, you can tell immediately the way he steers the car through the final corner, what his intentions are. And the 2 Ferraris going side by side behind. Just a perfect view of Game Freaker ahead. Game Freaker around the outside. Team orders from Ferrari. Josh has passed. Game Freaker now gets a run on Irin once again. You know, Irin's going to go late on the brakes to try and stop Game Freaker, and he does. Plants the car on the apex again, and Josh is right there. Oh, this is brilliant stuff. Around the outside, no, I thought Game Freaker was going to try some audacious move around the outside into turn 4. That would have been absolutely incredible, almost impossible overtake there. Lubasquito up to 5th into the lead. Grumpy's pitted for the super soft tyres. So Dougie Doo closing in on the back of the reigning F4 champion. That would be so we got a 3-way lead, fight for lead. Well, 4-way, assuming Simo doesn't have to pit again. So we got Irin somehow defending with the medium compound, and now Game Freaker having to defend from Josh as well. So he's got 2 things to think about: to try and overtake Iran and also defend from Josh. Well, this could end up like Sab and Warren Haig, or it could be an incredible double overtake from somebody. Oh, and Game Freaker hits the back of Iran. Give me, there you go, that's the angle I wanted. So let's go on board with Josh. Is Josh going to try and go around the outside? And Game Freaker goes down the inside of Iran, but he's run wide, and Josh takes the lead. He's taken both in one corner. Game Freaker thought he had it, he died down the inside of Iran, but he got the braking all wrong, and he's dropped to third. Well, earlier on in the race, it looked like Game Freaker had this pre-season win in the bag. But Josh now, a season of redemption for him coming up after being banned from PSGL F1 last season. And Game Freaker now trying to go down the inside of Iran through the chicane. He'll get the better run. Iran is not giving him anything, but I think finally Game Freaker might have it here. No, he doesn't. Iran keeps ahead. I think Game Freaker must have done something to one of Iran's family members, because he's defending furiously. That's what experience is. That's what Iran has in abundance. And look at that, 1.5 second gap already. I mean, at this rate, Dougie Dude's going to close on their slot as well. Absolutely unbelievable. Dougie Dude's past the F4 champion. So Dougie Dude's two-stop strategy working very well. And here we go again. Oh, this is going to be Schumacher Barrichello style. F in 2010, squeezed on the wall. But I think Game Freak, if he gets his braking right, I think this battle is finally over. Will he get his braking right? Switchback. No, Iran is stuck behind the Renault this time. He's got the mediums, he's going to try and dive around the outside, but I don't think he's going to have the grip. No, I think Game Freak has finally got it, but what a great battle that was. Great stuff. And Iran, Simo flies off the track behind. Don't rule out Dougie Dude from getting on the podium. Well, maybe now. Wow, I'm sorry, Dougie Dude, I literally just screwed that up for you. I literally said he had a chance because he was going, now he's got a 3-second penalty, so highly unlikely now. Game Freak has got a 3-second penalty as well, don't forget that, so he's got to get away from Iran as quickly as he can. So again, Game Freak can catch up to Josh well. He's only got 4 laps to go. Well, I've seen a lot of pre-season races. This has been one of the best I've ever seen. So I'm glad I got home in time to commentate this. I was expecting something quite sort of, you know, 11. Not a lot of drivers, spread out, kind of dull, but this has been anything but. All of these drivers looking to make a statement before the start of the season. We've seen incidents, we've seen great overtakes, and that battle between Freaker, Josh and Iran in particular, absolutely fantastic. And Dougie now is closing in on the back of Simo. Will he go for a late lunch down the inside? He's got 4 more laps to get past these two and onto the podium, although he will need 3 seconds of time. So we're still going to have some great battles to go on. And meanwhile, Mr. Grumpy is closed in on the back of Hulkenberger, who was responsible for one of the incidents on the track. Not his fault, of course, he just made a mistake, but it certainly compromised his race and Blue Mosquitoes as well. So Iran certainly getting his defensive juices going with that. The great defending from the fresh Supersoft to Game Freak for lap after lap. Oof, and a nudge from Dougie Dude. That 2 Ferrari power cars making slight contact. And there's Blue Mosquito just lurking behind, as he so often does. But is the battle for the lead over? Because Game Freak is close to within 2 seconds of Josh. Surely we're not going to get another battle for the lead. Game Freak must be a little bit miffed. Having been caught behind Iran for so many laps, and he's got that 3-second time penalty, so even if he gets past Josh, it's not going to be enough for him. So are we going to get any overtakes here? Looks like a poor exit from Dougie Dude, it has to be said. Blue will look for a move around the outside. Dougie Dude takes the inside. Grumpy incidentally has got past Hulkenberger, has moved up to 7th position, but he's a long way back. Grumpy, Hulkenberger and Clyde, they're in pretty much a different race, a different planet it may as well be. Oh, and Josh gets a 3-second time penalty as well just now, so that means this battle for the lead will be set on track. So if only Aaron was on a different chassis, without the penalties he could well be winning this race, but just couldn't hang on anymore. I wonder if Game Freaker knows about Josh's penalty. Well, he did comment in the chat earlier, so maybe he's got the stream running, and that would explain why maybe he suddenly got to within into DRS range. He's taken a second out of Josh this lap. What's going on with Josh? Is it fuel? Oh yes, look at his fuel, it's very low. Significantly lower than Game Freaker, so we may get a battle for the lead yet. He's in DRS range. But how close is he going to be? They have 1 3-second penalty each, so it will be settled on track. And now Simo looking to get past Iran. I'm pretty sure Iran has not defended from Simo before in any PSGL race, and I'm pretty sure Simo has never come up against a defender like Iran in his PSGL career. So if he can get past him, even with the tyre advantage he has, he will certainly give himself a little bit of a boost going into Australia next week. We have to go back to the battle for the lead. Lap 34, penultimate lap of this pre-season race, and Game Freaker right at the back of Josh. Yeah, well, apparently Josh has 2 penalties, but I never saw the second one appear on the screen, so maybe it appeared at the same time as someone else. But we shall find out soon enough. Game Freaker may settle the debate without the need for penalties anyway, because he's got one more opportunity. Oh, and meanwhile, Iran's run wide. Iran's got a puncher. Iran's got a puncher. Look, puncher on the back. Oh, it's been a dramatic race for the Sauber driver. We have to go back for the battle for the lead. Game Freaker will go lay on the brakes on the outside and try and get the switchback. No, he's going to try and put it round the outside. What about behind? Blue, try to go around the outside. No, he's still in 5th position. Iran pits then. Sad end to his race. And side by side, Josh and Game Freaker running up the hill to turn 4. Josh will run wide, but he gets the move done, and he's still in 1st place. Game Freaker trying to get past. What a battle for the lead we're having here. Well, this may have been a pre-season race, but these drivers are absolutely throwing everything. There's been no sense of caution here. It's not been about getting the lap time. They want to win this pre-season race to say, yeah, I'm going to be the man to beat for this 13 race F4 season, which begins in a week's time. And you can see all the action on Kurtoy's channel. Details will be shared on the official PSGL Twitter channel at the time, but round the outside, I think they're going to have a battle for the line. Who's going to cross the line in 1st place? Oh, how close was that? Game Freaker takes it. I think on penalties, indeed he does. Wow. What a dramatic finish. And what a statement from Game Freaker. And Blue Mosquito, well, I told you. I told you. Look at that. He's on the podium. It's that consistency which got him the championship. Simo, hard luck. Look how close he was from getting a pre-season podium. Grumpy in 5th in the end, a good recovery. Dougie in 6th. Hulk in 7th. Aaron has ended up in 9th position. Wow. I hope everyone watching that had a lot of enjoyment, because I certainly did. That was an incredible pre-season race. If the action is like that in the real thing, we're in for a treat. So then, Game Freaker, ex-PSGL F1 driver, joined by another ex-F1 PSGL driver, Josh, and the reigning F4 champion as the top 3, and maybe the top 3 to beat for this season. But there's plenty of drivers who weren't racing here tonight. We'll see more from Warren Haig. He sort of made a few sort of rusty mistakes, but I'm sure he'll iron those out for the season. So this could be perhaps the most competitive season of F4 we have seen in a very long time, based off that. So here's your final result then. Game Freaker, Josh, Blue, Simo, Grumpy, Dougie, Holken, Berger, Aaron and Clyde make up your top 9 finishers. And then of course we saw Sab and Haig have that dramatic incident on the home straight But yeah, big congratulations to the top three. There'll be no podium. It's pre-season, of course. But I hope that everyone will join Courtois for all the action in a week's time at 8 o'clock. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time. And see you for PSGL F1 on Gaming Alamonda tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much.